Essay number 18. 10 key things we misunderstand about emotion. We like to think we understand our emotions. We've been feeling them our whole lives, after all. But the truth is, most of what we believe about emotions, what they mean, how they work, what we should do with them, is not just wrong, it's dangerously wrong. These misunderstandings aren't just philosophical curiosities. They're actively shaping how we live, how we relate, how we suffer, and how we heal. So let's clear some things up. Let's talk about what emotions actually are, not what we wish they were or fear they might be. First, and this is crucial, the long-term effects of emotional abuse can be as bad as, if not worse than, physical abuse. I know that sounds extreme, but the research is clear. We don't take emotional abuse seriously because we can't see the bruises. There's no broken bones to X-ray, no cuts to bandage. But emotional abuse systematically destroys a person's sense of self, worth, and reality in ways that can take decades to heal, if they ever fully heal at all. When someone constantly criticizes you, controls you, belittles you, threatens you, degrades you, they're not just hurting your feelings. They're rewiring your brain. They're teaching your nervous system that you're not safe, that you're not valuable, that you can't trust your own perceptions. The invisibility of emotional abuse doesn't make it less real. It makes it more insidious, because even the victim often questions whether it's really happening. Here's something that will change how you think about your emotional life. Emotions outlast the memories that created them. You might not remember being left alone as a toddler, but your body remembers the panic. You might not remember being humiliated in second grade, but your nervous system remembers the shame. We carry these emotional imprints forward, projecting old feelings onto new situations. This is why you might feel irrationally angry at your partner for something minor. You're not just responding to the present moment, you're responding to every time someone made you feel that way before. Unless we address the original wound, we're going to keep bleeding on people who didn't cut us. Our current anxieties and fears are usually old emotions wearing new costumes. Now here's something that might surprise you about creative people and depression. There's a neurological connection. The expression and experience of negative emotions activate the same areas of the brain that are involved in creativity, particularly the right frontal cortex and the amygdala. The same neural networks that allow someone to find meaning in abstract concepts, to see connections others miss, to create something from nothing. These are the same networks that can spiral into rumination and melancholy. This isn't to romanticize depression or say that suffering is necessary for art. It's to understand that the capacity for deep feeling and creative expression often come from the same source. The sensitivity that allows someone to create is the same sensitivity that can make life feel unbearable sometimes. Here's a complete reversal of what you probably believe. Fear doesn't actually mean you want to escape. The emotion most closely associated with fear is interest. Fear has two faces, one that wants to flee and one that wants to investigate. Think about it. We're not afraid of things that have nothing to do with us. We're afraid of things we're drawn to, things we know might become part of our story, things that matter. This is why we're simultaneously terrified and fascinated by the same things. Why we can't look away from what scares us. Why we're drawn to edge experiences, to people who frighten us, to possibilities that could destroy everything we've built. The fear isn't telling you to run away. It's telling you that something important is happening. Let me say something that goes against everything our happiness-obsessed culture teaches. Feelings other than happiness are not marks of failure. Health is having a spectrum of emotion. If you were happy all the time, that wouldn't be mental health, that would be mental illness. It would mean your emotional system is broken, unable to respond appropriately to the full range of human experience. Negative emotions aren't something to be fixed or avoided or medicated away. They're signals, they're information. Anger tells you a boundary has been crossed. Sadness tells you something needs to be grieved. Anxiety tells you something needs your attention. Fear tells you to pay attention. These aren't malfunctions, they're features. The problem isn't the emotion. The problem is whatever the emotion is trying to tell you about. Your gut feelings are real. This isn't some new age concept, it's neuroscience. A study at Columbia University called the emotional oracle effect found that people who trust their emotions can actually predict future outcomes more accurately than those who rely purely on analysis. Why? Because your subconscious mind is constantly processing information that your conscious mind isn't aware of. That feeling you have about someone or something is your brain recognizing patterns your conscious mind hasn't caught up to yet. Your emotions have access to a vast unconscious well of information. Every micro-expression you've unconsciously noticed, every pattern you've absorbed, every subtle signal you've picked up. When you have a gut feeling about something, that's your emotional system trying to tell your conscious mind what it already knows but can't articulate. Here's something disturbing about how our brains work. We can relive social pain more vividly than physical pain. Try to remember the last time you physically hurt yourself. You might remember that it hurt, but you can't actually re-experience the sensation. Now think about the last time you were humiliated or rejected. You can probably feel it right now, can't you? That flush of shame, that sick feeling in your stomach. This isn't a design flaw. For most of human history, being rejected by your tribe meant death. Our brains prioritize social pain because maintaining social bonds was literally a matter of survival. But in modern life, where social rejection rarely threatens our physical survival, this hypersensitivity to social pain can become crippling. Let's talk about the emotion we never talk about as an emotion: stress. We treat stress like it's just part of modern life, something to power through, something that proves we're working hard. But chronic stress might be the most dangerous emotion of all. It's connected to virtually every major cause of death: heart disease, cancer, accidents, suicide. Stress literally kills us, but we treat relaxation like it's a luxury instead of a necessity. When you're chronically stressed, your body is constantly flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. Your immune system shuts down. Your digestion suffers. Your sleep becomes fragmented. Your brain literally shrinks in certain areas. This isn't about being tough or pushing through. Chronic stress is slowly destroying your body and mind, and we've normalized it to the point where not being stressed seems lazy. Now, about social media and emotional connection. We've got it completely backwards. We think we're more connected than ever, but we're actually becoming emotionally illiterate. We're consuming sound bites of people's lives, curated highlights that bear no resemblance to reality. We're replacing actual human connection with parasocial relationships and wondering why we feel so lonely. The anxiety that social media creates, the constant comparison, the fear of missing out, the pressure to perform your life rather than live it, it's making us prioritize screen time over face time. We're social creatures who need real, embodied, present connection to thrive. 1,000 Instagram likes will never satisfy the need for one real hug from someone who actually knows you. Finally, and this might be the most important thing to understand about emotions, you cannot selectively numb. Brené Brown's research on this is definitive. When you numb yourself to pain, sadness, anger, fear, you also numb yourself to joy, love, excitement, wonder. It's all or nothing. The same walls that keep out the bad stuff keep out the good stuff too. This is why so many people feel empty, even when their lives look good on paper. They've gotten so good at not feeling the difficult emotions that they've lost the ability to feel anything deeply. They're living at 50% capacity, wondering why success feels hollow, why relationships feel superficial, why nothing seems to matter very much. The misunderstandings we have about emotions aren't just intellectual errors. They're shaping how we live, how we love, how we work, how we relate to ourselves and others. We're trying to hack our emotional lives like they're buggy software, instead of understanding that emotions are ancient wisdom trying to keep us alive and connected. We treat emotional abuse like it's not real abuse. We carry old emotions forward without realizing they're from the past. We pathologize the sensitivity that comes with creativity. We run from what we're actually drawn to. We think we should be happy all the time. We ignore our intuition. We can't let go of social pain. We normalize chronic stress. We trade real connection for digital validation. We numb ourselves to avoid pain and wonder why we can't feel joy. These aren't just misunderstandings, they're causing massive suffering. They're keeping us from the full experience of being human. They're making us sick, lonely, disconnected from ourselves and each other. The truth about emotions is that they're not problems to be solved. They're not enemies to be conquered. They're not glitches to be fixed. They're information. They're guidance. They're the way we navigate the complexity of being human. They're what connect us to each other and to ourselves. When we misunderstand emotions, we misunderstand what it means to be human. And when we misunderstand what it means to be human, we create lives that work against our nature instead of with it. We create suffering where there doesn't need to be suffering. We create disconnection where we're wired for connection. We create numbness where we're designed to feel. Understanding emotions correctly isn't just about feeling better. It's about being more fully alive. It's about having access to the full spectrum of human experience. It's about being able to trust yourself, connect with others, and navigate life with all your faculties intact. Your emotions aren't trying to sabotage you. They're trying to save you. The question is, are you willing to listen?